Yeah, obviously thrilled with the win. Really, thought we put on a really, good performance at both ends of the court. Tougher game. Obviously Providence coming in, having beaten us last week, and beating DePaul on the road, coming in, winning 2 in a row, and knowing how good of a coach Ed is, and how good of players Duke and Watson and Reeves are, and how well Horschler was playing. This obviously was an important win for us, it was just a lot of guys contributed. Really proud, in particular, of Josh today. I thought that told the story of the game. Obviously, Bouknight's return was much needed, and Tyrese played great, and RJ's second half was exactly what we needed from that position. But Josh, what he did, really allowed us to get away from them.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Dan, going back to James, you've seen him in practice, but did he exceed your expectations of what he gave you today? He gave you so much, especially in that first half.
Yeah, I was nervous about the game, because they got really athletic guards. Ed's teams historically are really tough defensively, physical. So yeah, I was worried. He was better than I thought he was. He stumbled around a little bit out there, but I mean, you're talking about one of the premier guards in the country.
And you upped the pace a lot more in this game. What did you do to attack Providence better than you did last week? We made more shots. They hadn't shown as much pressure going into our first game. And I just think as we've gotten healthier, and as we've gotten, deeper, and as we've gotten, in particular, Andre and Bouknight into the game, and as RJ has started to play better offensively, when you've got guard play and talent and Tyrese now, we could put more pressure on people. And your defense, 36%, and you held the 2 big guns, Watson and Duke, to 6 of 25 shooting. Talk about the defense on both of those guys, and you took them out of the offense, and that pretty much took care of it.
Yeah, I mean, we did a great job, a much better job with Watson on pre-catch, low post defense, and then our traps were much more aggressive. And then Duke, we did a much better job of bothering him. Even some of the fouls away from the basket, we were so soft in our ball screen defense the last time we played him. He was able to get downhill a lot. And I thought, even though we picked up some fouls, hip checking him out at half court, I think we disrupted his rhythm by just being, really aggressive. And then we rallied to him when he drove it, I thought, pretty well.
Sean McFarland.
And you said something, I think, after the game against Xavier, when your team is at full strength, they can be a really good team. Was tonight's performance sort of what you envisioned when you think of your team at full strength and what they can do?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a really much of a chance here with the group. I mean, I don't want to go through it again, but yeah, I mean, when you're at the point, year 3, coming from where we've come from a couple of years ago, and you lose somebody of James's caliber, and you lose a talent infusion of Andre's caliber, it gets a little ugly out there. I'm not in year 5, 6, 7 where I can absorb an injury to somebody of that caliber, and I have so much program depth that we can just, kind of not miss a beat. But this group did a really good job of holding on and winning enough so that our season didn't blow up. And now we're almost fully loaded here, with 5 games to go, and see what we could do.
With Bouknight back, I'm sure it's going to change the offense a little bit. What do you want to see guys like Martin and Cole do as they kind of slide into maybe different roles than they were with Bouknight out? Was tonight kind of example of what you want to see them do? Just score when they can, be the offense when they're on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, we
we want those guys to generate offense and make plays. I mean, Tyrese kind of filled in. Tyrese, we got kind of the wing game that we were getting from CV and James last year when we got hot late and won a bunch of games where we got a couple guys on the wing that are giving us 16, 18, 20 a piece on the wing, and then a point guard that, they got you 13 and 5 and made huge plays in the second half. So we want those guys to create offense, to create offense for our team, and in ball screens and dribble handoffs and pass and gets in transition. Driving a close. I mean, those guys have to create offense. Obviously, we could throw it into Adama. Isaiah is really good in the ball screen and roll game. Tyler, I thought, was filled his role perfectly for us today. Huge 3-point play from him today when they cut it to 12. So Andre's energy was incredible, and has made such an impact even without putting up gaudy numbers.
Dave?
I guess this is kind of a similar question, but just for your particular words, is the band back together now? I mean, you mentioned with not only James, but with Andre healthy, a Cook. I know he only played a minute or so today, but do you feel, like a full team now?
Yeah, and a Cook, today's a special day that I want to acknowledge. It was obviously a year anniversary of his injury. That was something that we rallied around as a team today. We wanted to get this one today, for the big fella, for Cook. I think he overdid it the last 2 days. I think he probably got too many practice reps yesterday and probably went a little bit too hard at shoot around today. Because we like pregame, he kind of, hinted to me a little bit that he wasn't feeling great, and that, could he maybe, give him a run at some point, maybe in the first half, and see if he could kind of find it. But he just didn't feel good, just like physically. So I think, Cook, we're going to have to manage his practice reps, because, we'd love to be able to try to get, like 10 to 15 out of him per game. So he's the one guy, Dave. But yeah, this is what we envision. Obviously, we don't have a lot of time to get this new group that's now together, the opportunity to blend and to develop that chemistry. But today obviously was a positive step.
Gavin?
Dan, how important was Tyrese's contribution when Book Night was out? He scored in double figures every game. How important was his contribution?
Yeah, I mean, Tyrese is, this was a guy that we knew would bring a ton of value. Small ball 4 with his toughness. Big wing when we're playing 3 perimeter. He's got some dog in him. He's improving. He's improved so much, and he's just scratching the surface. The guy is, the guy's got a chance to be a hell of a player.
Tom?
Dan, as you mentioned, James has such a small window now to kind of do what he wanted to do at UConn, to kind of get what he came for, reach the goals that he had. What's the mindset, the focus that you've seen in him leading up to this game? Knowing that he's kind of starting this small stretch to kind of do what he wants to do.
Yeah, James. James a baller. Most people in his position, in terms of the culture of basketball, he's handled everything, really, really beautifully since he's been here. Since he established himself last year, with how he played late in the year and how that didn't affect him as a person, and how he interacted with his teammates and coaches. And he's he made a strong push. Again, we didn't get clearance from the surgeon, until after the Xavier game, but he made another hard push to get himself into the Xavier game. It means a lot to him to have played in this place, the history, the tradition. He's obviously going to come back and try to lead this team as far as he can take it, through the rest of the year. And then, he's going to be the next guy that goes into the NBA that, to continue that tradition. And he's aware of all of it.
And he's okay, just cramps or workload thing when he came out.
Yeah, cramps. James does a bad job of conserving energy because he just flies all around the court. It's obviously good because he plays so hard, but yeah, it was just cramps. And, I probably played him in a little bit longer stretches. He looked gassed to start the second half, so I got him out kind of quickly there. I think our plan to start the second half was to try to play him like 4 minutes, 3 times in the second half. But then he started cramping, and then we were in a comfortable lead, so we didn't have to go back to him.
Jeff Jacobs.
Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit about James also. It kind of filled in stuff, but I just kind of tightened down on before the game. Dan, did you have a chat with him about how much you might use him? And then he came out. He was so spectacular. The putback dunk, 3 dribbles down on the fast break by himself, and then he was so good that he made the officials miss the backcourt pass by Whaley on his assist there. It was just so shot out of the gate. I was just wondering what was going through your mind during those minutes there.
What was going through my mind?
Yeah.
That obviously I'm a better coach now. My job has gotten easier. And it was just, this is what we envisioned this year 3, this group, obviously minus a Cook being kind of hobbled a little bit today. It's what we envisioned. This is, it sucks that college basketball and our fans, had to, miss him for 40 whatever days since he's been out. But, like during COVID, when we don't have a lot of things to, and during a tough time for, just all people, I'm just happy that, hopefully that he'll be able to be healthy and finish this season and, just, give, just the UConn fans deserve to see him play to end his career here. And then he deserves to get to wear this uniform because, he's really elevated us at a time when this program was in brutal shape 3 years ago. What he's been able to do for us the last 2 years, we owe him a lot.
Gabby.
Hey, what was that moment like at the very end? You guys started to run off the court. You called them all back. What did you say to them? And then what was going through your mind even after they left? You stayed out here a little bit. You looked at where the fans would be. What was that moment after the game for you?
It's we talked as a staff today. It's hard not to let your mind drift a little bit about like what could have been. Like if there were fans today, sold out, arrival here, and Book Knight's return, what this building would have been like when he checked in, or when a Cook, so we were kind of like staff spent like 5 to 10 minutes talking about that. And, so for me at the end there, I was a little immature. I acted like there were fans there, and I wanted to celebrate something because this COVID season, it sucked in a lot of ways. It's been hard on these players and on coaches across the country because, the reward for all of us is to get to play in front of our great fans and to play in front of road crowds. That's like, it's the great part of the job. It just, that emotion that you get from it. So for me, it was just like trying to replace some of that. Plus I wanted to say hi to my lovely wife, Andrea. And then I just told the team, there's no crowd. There's no crowd here. Like home court. I don't know what that means anymore, but we ain't losing in here the rest of the year. We got a couple games left in here. We're not losing in here. So that's basically what I told them in the huddle. We've lost too much in here. We ain't losing anymore in Gamble.
Last one, Noam.
Coach, sorry to take away from sort of the emotional aspect of the win, but looking at, a little bit of the stats, you guys had 4 different guys score and ones today. Finishing through contact and finishing around the rim seems to be a lot better the last 2 games. Has that been more of a point of emphasis or in practice, or is that just sort of as you get more games under the belt and get in a better rhythm, it's just sort of?
Yeah, I think the games, playing more games on top of each other gives you a better rhythm. But I also think in life, when you go through a tough part of your season like we went through, and every team goes through a bad stretch, we went through a bad stretch of games where we didn't play well. If you don't give in, if you don't back up, if you don't back down, if you fight back and show resiliency, you could gain tremendous strength from your failures. And through our failures this year, we've become stronger and better, and we've answered the bell. And now we're excited about the last, obviously, to end this regular season in the Big East, and then we're excited for what's to come from there.